So today we're going to do something really fun because we're going to talk about how to sell with workshops. And let's just be clear. Why is this important? When we talk about having workshops and selling with workshops, the importance is that you are not doing workshops because it's only fun, right? It's not just because I love doing workshop, it's amazing, it's fun. You actually want to be able to link the workshops that you're doing to clients, to opportunities, to collaboration and all that. And when you only come in and you just give a workshop, and that is not even a 3-shift workshop, but a general workshop, and you have no real strategy on how to sell, it becomes hope marketing. You come in and you say, okay, I'm giving you workshops. It looks like everyone else. The titles is unclear and all that. But when you start having a 3-shift workshop, the first things that happens is that you actually have an incredible workshop that people feel like, I understand the pillars. I see that you have credibility. You have case studies. You have stories. There's like a journey. And that is the beginning of the magic. But it's only a small part of the magic because selling with workshops has so much more strategy around that doesn't require much technical understanding, but more, let's say, human interaction, much more connection with your audience. And my intention with this training today is that you start to be like the top 1% of the facilitators who are using workshops for the business. That's my intention, that you really understand what can I do before, during, and after the workshop to 10x your sales from your workshops, even if people don't show up, even if you have no shows, even if the audience is very small with 10 people, even if you have 20 people, it doesn't matter how many people are in the room, we are able to 10x our sales as long as we get their email and as long as we get their WhatsApp number. You'll see how that works. So let's jump right into this. So if you look at the workshop has different phases. Before the workshop, people are coming to a sort of landing page, or they're coming to a sort of, depends where you're going to publish that. It's a Facebook event, like or an Eventbrite, or wherever you're going to put that event. There's going to be a before where people sign up, and that is becoming the registration, right? There's the 100% participation. So every person who signs up is now on an email list. That is the before. But as most of you have done workshops, and feel free to write in the chat wherever comes up for you around questions or reflections. I know for me, it really helps when I'm interactive with the workshops, with the training, so feel free to share. So during the workshop, as many of you have done workshops, ask yourself, how many people actually showed up? You didn't have full participation. I know Luna had incredible success with the first workshop. She had 22 sign up, 21 show up, which is incredible. Like, it's a high standard in the industry. I haven't seen something like that very often. Most of the times what happens is that actually 10 to 50% of the people who signed up will show up. If you look at the numbers, if you just have a registration for a physical event, usually the show up rate is higher, but you might have less people. If you have an online event and you don't do any follow-up, you don't do any much more than just registration plus email reminders, you're probably going to have 25%. So this is quite regular numbers in the industry. And after, you still have 100 participation, you still have all the emails. So what you have to remember is that the workshop doesn't really matter so much. What really matters is that you had the permission to connect with these people. You had the permission to get their email or WhatsApp number, and they showed interest in the topic. So we have to change this whole idea that it's so important that people come to your workshop. You understand what I mean here? This is the big idea. It's not that important. I have no registration to a live workshop. Okay, so this is going to be another topic, how to fill up your workshop. This is when you already have gotten the emails, the WhatsApp numbers. Where do you go from there? So the big idea, and I will repeat it, is that the workshop is like the actual people who show up in the workshop and how many people come and are there doesn't matter as much as having their emails and what you do before with those emails and the WhatsApp numbers and what you do after with those WhatsApp numbers and emails. Because what you have to remember is that all of you want to work with really good clients. You want to be able to sell premium pricing, high ticket coaching. We're talking about in the thousands of euros. And the people who are going to pay for that are mostly leaders. And I don't like to call it, when we were writing this presentation, Barak wrote busy people, like busy people equal best clients. I don't believe in busyness. It's really has to do more with people who are picky with what they do. They choose really wisely where they invest their time. They choose who do they go on calls with. They choose what type of events and workshops they show up to. So the best clients will actually not be even in your workshop. The best clients will sign up and say, I'm interested. And maybe if you have a recording, we talk about more advanced strategies after, even if you have a recording and you can send that after as a replay, like Natalie did, that you have the recording after, they might go for a walk with their dog in the weekend and listen to that. They might listen to that in the car. They might do that with when they go to the gym. When I did my workshops, I had 10, 12 people in one of my partnership workshops. This is the one that we actually generated 118,000 euros with in the last 8 months with one partner and 3 workshops. My best client that is our already work with us for 40,000 euros, she didn't even come to the workshop. She watched the replay. Just to give you an idea. So the best clients, the most paying clients, they don't have time to schedule the live workshops. So what you have to remember is that you want to work with leaders, with high tickets, with people who actually are ready to invest in what you're doing. They're going to be picky with their time, and they're gonna be the ones signing up, and they're the ones that are gonna actually reply after. But they might not even show up to your workshop, and it doesn't really matter. And who will show up to the workshop? Many times is people with free time. People who are, I call it workshop junkies. For the ones who are living in Bali and in Koh Phangan, you know what I'm talking about. Like the ones who are like almost addicted to going to free workshop, but nothing really happens. Of course, it's not always true. Of course, it's not always the way. If you're an event or if you're collaborating with a mastermind, this is the beauty of partnerships. When I speak in the partners, like yesterday, we just signed a new partnership deal with an amazing coach in the US that she has a big audience. We're gonna be speaking in her as guest speaker in her group coaching program. Of course, it's very different because they are there to learn. They already invested. But if you're doing a free workshop to a broad audience, in that audience, there's going to be less qualification of who is all actually really committed to make a change. So this is something that we have to remember, that it's not only here. So if you are coming there and you're having a workshop and let's say that you have maybe 10 people there and 5 of them are actually they are qualified, but they're not actually moving because they're only going to free workshops and reading books, but they're not getting into action. It's completely normal because a lot of them who signed up, who did not show up, are actually the ones who are the most interesting. Okay, so I would love to hear what is the most insightful for you so far before we move forward. Can you share in the chat? What are you learning so far? Because it's really about the concept that you need. Like for me, it's a reframe, like Eva was saying, it's really understanding that there's a bigger picture to the workshop that is not just the workshop. So please share in the chat what you are already realizing. That selling does not happen online. Yeah, exactly. It's a lot more. Of course, in the workshop, you are selling without selling because you have an incredible workshop and you're allowing people to really go through a process. And of course, we have a lot of sales coming directly from the workshops and they're great, but it does not stop there. Let me see. Tava is saying the best clients might not be able to come to a workshop. Exactly. That the show up is not that important as a connection to my world. And yes, exactly. That you have their contact, that you can have a dialogue with them before and after. I see now why it's important to deliver and to record because of the replay after that. Yes, exactly. So then for the ones who could not show up, to be honest, I've been Just to give you an example, and I'm a manifestor, so it's very common in human design for manifestors, apparently, not to come to the live calls. I've been invested thousands of euros in long-term coaching containers to develop my leadership, to develop my business. Most of the time, I don't even show up in the live calls because I like to watch the replays when I'm in the gym, when I'm going on the walk, when I am working out, when I am doing it when I am in the state of that. And I watch a lot and I listen a lot and I learn a lot, but I do it on my own time. Even if I'm not showing up live, it doesn't mean that I'm not doing it. Because if I'm really interested, I will take the time after. And the leaders that you're going to work with, you don't need to drag them. And Natalie talked about dragging clients. You don't need to drag them. They want to do the work. They're just looking in their schedule because they have family, they have their hobbies, they have their studies, they have their workouts, they have their team, clients. Like they have so much in their schedule. And they are managing that in the way that they're flexible with when do I do my training. So having a replay option is really good because then they can just listen to that on the drive when they're driving their kids to a football game or when they're going for a walk with their dog. Like you give them a chance to actually do it on their own conditions. All right, so let's get right into it. What do we actually do? How does it actually look like? As you can see, it's Barak's magical creation. I have not learned yet to do this, but we get to benefit for that. But look at this. When someone comes to you, they are invited to a workshop. The invitation happens either on a landing page, so either you're using ConvergeKit or you're using another tech setup where you have a landing page and when they are registering, if you're working with a partner, they have their own setup, but they are getting the emails and they're getting the WhatsApp messages. We want to have the number plus the email. So you invite them to the workshop. Before the workshop, there's gonna be so much happening. Usually a workshop, if you are setting it up, you will maybe have 5 days before when you announce it, 5 to 7 days before the workshop. And every day before that 5 to 7 days, something is gonna happen in their mind. Think of yourself. How many things happen in your day that you will forget about this workshop that you signed up for? Day 4, you don't even remember that you have signed it up. So this is the same for your potential clients. They have so many emails, they have so many things going on, and they sign up and they forget. So the nurturing is extremely important before the workshop because it's not that they don't want to show up sometimes. It's actually that they don't have it in their mind. So we need to send them a message if we go backwards, 1 hour before the workshop, we need to send them a message 24 hours before the workshop. We need to nurture them to remind them why they should show up. And this is where we can add more about the pillars we're going to teach, the case studies we're going to teach, and actually having an email sequence. We're going to talk about more how that looks like before. And if you're thinking, but I don't want to spam them, you're not going to spam them. Even if you send them an email every day before the workshop and you give real value and you really provide them with the insights why this is going to make a difference in their life, it's going to be amazing for them. And in addition to that, you can also do WhatsApp. Hi, I wrote you an email. I saw that you're signing up. Are you joining? We're going to talk more about that. And here, what you can do is that, look at this. You can go straight to the call. You don't even need to go to the workshop. You can say, hey, listen, for instance, Anel is talking about chaos from chaos to for women who are going from structure to chaos. We had this conversation before. At least let's take this as an example. I'm just brainstorming here. Let's say that this is a woman who's in leadership position. She is very strict and she wanna surrender to the chaos more, be more in her family and want to relax. And you say, okay, hey, Anna, I saw that you signed up to the workshop. You make an audio on WhatsApp. And I know this is a really interesting topic. Tell me more. Are you leader? Are you new to this work? What made you sign up? Tell me more about your situation. By the way, if you want to go faster than joining the workshop, I know that you're interested in the topic. I'm offering a couple of free audits where we can brainstorm together and I can look over how your situation looks like specifically. And I can take you through the 3 pillars I'm going to teach in the workshop. How does that sound? So even before they come to the workshop, you can already offer them to come to book a call. And I find this is fascinating because you might think I need to first teach them and then I can book the call with them. But honestly, they're not there for only the free teaching. You can also ask them, are you here to get inspired, or are you prioritizing your feminine leadership at the moment? Are you here to get inspired, or are you, like let's say Natalie's example with the work, is this an urgent issue for you when it comes to your balance at work? And then Natalie can then say, I see that you're interested in this workshop around work balancing your how you feel and purpose in life and work. I'm offering a couple of audits. It's a free session. You cannot buy anything on the call. And we're gonna go through the 3 pillars I'm gonna teach in their training, but we're gonna do it individually. And then you can go straight to the call. And then from the workshop, you can do the same. So you're teaching your trainings. In the workshop, you're not selling in the program. Again, we are selling the program only in the call. And you give the workshop and you say, okay, for the ones who'd like to go deeper, I'm offering a couple of spots. You can say 3 spots, 5 spots, to have an individual session with me where I will guide you through and look over those 3 pillars I was teaching in the workshop and go deeper with you and give you my insights, what I see can really help you. And that's going to be with sexuality for Tava as well. I will look at, we can have a more intimate conversation where you can open up with me in confidential, I cannot say this word, confidentiality, secret conversation between you and me. No one's going to learn about that, okay? So you can just say that. You can say, we're going to have this conversation. I know and for Tava, it's very interesting as well. I know maybe, I'm not sure how open you are about this conversation, but I want to make sure that the ones who want to go deeper and have a more intimate conversation, that they can have that. So I'm opening a couple of spots to have a more in-depth conversation one-on-one with me. Would you be interested? It's so natural, so organic, and it's not a sales call. And you can even say there's nothing to buy on the call, which is true. You're not selling, it's not a hard sell. You're having conversation, you're giving them an audit of what's really going on around those 3 pillars. And then after that, they will ask, you can tell, either you do it by yourself, or if you want to implement the plan, if you want to work on this together, you have the option. But I'm not going to hard sell you. It's not about that. They see it by themselves. They buy by themselves. You're not selling, they're buying. So this is a couple of examples. I will have to see what's going on in there. I love this approach of reaching out with value and offers. Yes, it's so good. And again, so the ones who did not sign up here to book a call, the ones who did not sign up here to book a call, after the workshop, you have another chance. Hey, I saw that you joined for the workshop, and I saw that you did not sign up for an individual call. I think you can really benefit from that. Would you like to share more about why not? Or what else do you have? Do you have any more questions? Like, you just have a conversation with them. You're really there to serve. The ones who did not show up to the workshop, Natalie is right. Hey, I saw that you did not show up for the live training. I have a replay offer option that you can rewatch. We have it open. Are you interested that I send it over to you? Permission-based. Amazing. By the way, we also have a couple of spots for these individual calls, and then they can book a call. So those are the opportunities for you to book a call. And it is proactive. And what I see often, and I used to teach social selling for many years, which is really about proactively speaking with people on the social media and other platforms, just having a normal conversation. And what I saw is that men tend to have more experience with that. And I have this idea and theory that a lot of young men who are geeks and grew up went to those pickup courses when they were younger. They learned to flirt with girls, and they had these trainings, and they learned to be rejected. So they are more open to go and have conversations with strangers. Whereas women, at least for me, I never did that. I never spoke to strangers in the street. And I was always afraid to get rejected. So I had to overcome my own beliefs around reaching out to strangers and not be awkward about it. Just being genuinely interested in people and say, hey, I have an excuse to reach out to you. I have the permission, not just randomly, but I have the permission to reach out to you. If you showed interest in my workshop, tell me more about yourself. Tell me more about what's really going on in your world. How about we go deeper? Like, just being genuinely interested and reaching out and coming back and say, hey, I noticed that we didn't speak for a couple of days. What's going on? How are you doing? Like, just being generally not awkward with people and having conversation and being the one first reaching out. I think women in general, like the more we learn it in our business, in our life, the more we'll have success with that. That's what I believe. So let me know what you're taking away from this section. Like, where can you see? And actually, is there something that you can apply from what I shared right now that can be super valuable for you in your workshops again? Hi, Mukti, welcome. We are going through the training for today. So what are you taking away so far that you can apply straight away in your workshop that you are preparing right now? Not linear. Good. What else? Reaching out to women who showed interest and not just the ones who show up. Yes, exactly. The one who registered, the ones that you have WhatsApp number and their email. Offer one-on-one calls before and after the workshop. Yes. And also during the workshop, in the end, when you end the workshop, you can say, by the way, I have a couple of spots for the ones who want to go deeper with an individual session where we're going to go through that. So yeah, the nurturing sequence before and after the workshop is definitely a very good strategy I'd like to apply. Very simple, important to enter relation in person. Yes, incredibly important. Especially, let's remember one thing. For most of you, and I think for all of you, we are having the privilege right now to be able to talk to everyone in our network. Everyone who signs up. We are not in the stage right now. We have 15,000 emails signed up for our workshop. It's going to be another level of how do you keep intimacy when you're getting to that. We're going to talk about when we get there, we're going to talk about that. But let's talk about up to 100 members signed up. You can still keep intimacy. And today, I really believe that automation is really great. We can do a lot with automation, but what will make us stand out is how much we can scale intimacy. How much can we deeply care about people in a more broad level? How can we show our love? How can we show our connection? How can we share our curiosity and interest in people in a more scalable way? So sometimes I believe that we go too far to let's just go to automation and do like emails and everything like that before we get a chance to speak with people. And it's important that we actually make that training of ourselves to speak with the people who are signing up. And when you're gonna get to a point in your business when you're earning 250,000 per year or 500,000 per year, you will be able to have your own team. You can outsource the care, but you will never take away the care from your business. The care is going to be the most important part, especially with the people you work, because the work that you're doing. So as you're growing, remember to scale intimacy, but we are not in the scaling intimacy state. Now we are creating the foundation for intimacy in your business and care. And then we are going to create the structure for that. And then we're going to be able to scale that. So let's go to sales and intimacy, what I just mentioned, which is really important to remember. So sometimes we talk about automations and we talk about I'm gonna register people, I'm gonna just get them an email. And let's talk about harder sales and easier sales. So when you write an email, which is a kind of the baseline minimum, having emails coming before and after the workshop, that's the minimum, but it is the lowest level of intimacy for people. It doesn't feel intimate. They feel like they're getting an email. Think about that yourself. An email doesn't feel like it's for you if it comes from a company or from a coach. You know that you're not the only one getting that message. You sign up for a workshop, you're getting a reminder email, but there's some type of feeling of, okay, I got this email, but unless I'm super, super excited, I don't feel like you're really connecting with me directly. However, if I'm sending a message to you, written message, can be a messenger on Facebook, it can be, I like to do WhatsApp if I have the WhatsApp number. I really feel like the WhatsApp is really intimate. I can do either written, but honestly, written also can be done by someone else. And if the people are getting used to like messages like that, the most intimate that you can do in the messaging level is making an audio. Hi, Natalie. I saw that you signed up to my workshop. I'm so excited to see you on Wednesday. Tell me more about yourself. Are you new to this world or have you done this before? Something like that. How much more intimate does that feel if you get the message like that than just getting an email? It's going to be very different. The next level of intimacy, and as the intimacy is getting closer, the sales are getting better because the more intimate, the easier sales. It's Zoom and audio. So of course, that's what we do online. We go from just saying emails and messaging to, if you want to be able to have someone joining your high ticket coaching program, on the back end of that, having a one-on-one call, and what we call here the 3-shift audit, is going to be the most effective. So we don't want to go from, I'm doing a workshop and I'm sending an email and I'm running away. We want to tap into this one. And of course, if you have in-person events, and some of you do in person, it's going to be much easier to close and have high ticket coaching sold if you have in person. Of course, it's nothing that this is not very scalable at this stage, but it is very powerful. If you think about it, and it's something that I always think about, in the movies, we see those people like the business men who travel to Tokyo to sign a contract in those big rooms, those movies where they travel all the other side of the world to sign a contract. Why do they do that? Why don't you just send over it by fax back in the past or email? It's because it doesn't feel intimate. The bigger contract, if you're going to buy a house, you want to sit, you can do the same thing online. There's something in us that we want to be able to physically sit down together and say, okay, I'm committing to myself. I want to do this in person. It's a real thing. I'm not getting, it's not some fraud. It's something we're doing. So the bigger commitment, the bigger investment in yourself, the more you want to be able to be close to the person. So the physical, if you cannot do physical, we do online, but still with video. And from that messaging and from that emails. So how do we actually speed up intimacy? Is that we do all of them. So when you're going to do your workshop, before, during, and after, you want to send them emails, you want to send them audio messages, and you want to also have a call with them for the ones who are signing up. My question for now is, for your workshops until now, which ones have you done before and after? To just share in the chat. And which one? Yes. Anel said the emails before and after. Tava, none. Email and call. Beautiful. Amazing. Yeah. And from now on, we're gonna really speed up the intimacy. We're gonna 3x the intimacy, if not 10x. Personal message to person. Yes, beautiful, Anne. Very beautiful. Amazing. So all of you have done a bit, but now you're gonna do all of them. And we're gonna show you how to do them all together. So what you have to remember is, why do we have the workshop if we are just selling them with emails, with messages and all that? Is that I really believe in permission-based sales. I want to have a permission to contact someone. When you reach out to someone, when you don't have a permission, imagine this is what's called cold outreach. You send a message on Facebook to someone, you add someone, or you send a message on LinkedIn, or if you're going much bigger with scaling, you're having like automations with just, this is when people are spamming with sales messages, it becomes just promotions. Like we don't see that anymore. So the person that is receiving something that I did not ask for, if you just reach out, like you add someone on Facebook and you say, hi, Christina, how are you today? What they are thinking is, who are you? They have suspicion about you. They feel like, okay, and it's awkward for you to talk with them because you don't really know what to say. Okay, I want to continue this conversation, but you don't want to just jump to buy my program. So you're going from awkwardness to going into friend zone of just having random conversations with people on different platforms or just getting nowhere. And you're feeling a lot of resistance. You're asking them questions and then they just reply with one answer, with no or yes. There's a lot of ickiness around that. And they are not giving you space to reflect because you are not on the radar. They don't know who you are. You just came from nowhere and you intruded yourself into their inbox, and now they're just asking yourself, what are you doing here? And they're trying to get you out of that. Can you relate, yes or no, if you have done in the past with your coaching business in any way, this type of outreach to reaching out to people on Facebook or Messenger or other messages where you didn't have? And how did you feel about that? Can you relate to this feeling of awkwardness and this ickiness that came with reaching out without permission? I hate that. Yeah, not great. So it's not great for you and it's not great for them. However, what happens when we have permission is that when you have a workshop, they actually asked to know more. You have now the permission to reach out. And you can say, let's say that Natalie is doing a workshop next week and she reach out. Actually, can someone give me just your title of your workshop? Doesn't matter which one, just if one of you can drop the title of your upcoming workshop in the chat. I'm going to use that as an example. Just drop. I know Annaelle is doing one, or Anne. Okay, someone dropping. From uncertainty to clarity, find confidence in your transformational journey without having it all figured out. Okay, amazing. So you can say, hi, Melanie, I saw that you are signed up for the workshop that I'm organizing called From Uncertainty to Clarity. I'm super excited to meet you. I would love to learn a bit more about you. Is that okay if I ask you a couple of questions? Now you have created a trust, because you're not some awkward person. That person just know that you're actually an expert in this field. Amazing. You have asked for permission to ask more questions. So now they have time to listen to you. They are not on resistance. And then you can guide them, because you can open with a question and they can answer. You open the question and then you can answer. Everything is permission based. You ask for the permission to, first of all, ask the permission by them registering and then reaching out and saying, hey, I saw that you registered. There's the trust. Asking, I would love to learn more about you. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? Ask for permission. And now we can just go and have this conversation. We can guide them, pre-qualify them, everything. And I call it a dance. It's really a dance, because now we have a dialogue. They are curious to answer because they know that you're actually there for them. You want to know more about them because you want to serve them better. They have registered for a workshop. You see the difference here? It's so different when we have a workshop as an quote unquote an excuse to reach out than if we don't have anything. It's going to become very simple. Okay, so let's look at how do we actually do that, the magic. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? All purple and pink. This is the email part. So before the emails, we're going to look at the different section we can do in the emails, the messenger, in the WhatsApp. And after that, we're going to open up for questions and answers. So before the workshop, let me just see. What do you recommend asking? How many questions? Yeah, that's what we're going to look at in the chat as we go deeper. First of all, let's look at the emails. So we have, of course, every time you do a workshop, Tava just did her first workshop ever with this topic, with this format. It's a win. Even if nobody shows up first time, it's for us first, right? First time we do it for ourselves. Next time we do it for our friends. Next time we do it for the bigger audience. And every time we are growing. It's really Kaizen, constant improvement every time. So if you're thinking, I don't have anything set up, doesn't matter, because every time, as we do this workshop every 2 weeks in our communities, and then every time we have an opportunity with a partner, we're going to have a lot of opportunities to improve it little by little. It's the same workshops. Now we can do all the marketing efforts and sales effort instead of changing the workshop all the time. So the minimum, I would say, is a reminder 1 hour before. It's just really good for people to have a reminder and say, hey, we are starting in 1 hour. They might have forgotten about it. They knew it was this day, but maybe the time zone is different. Maybe they didn't register that. That's going to be the minimum. And it's going to be a really short message, just a reminder. Hi, Natalie, you signed up to this workshop. Here is the time. Here's the Zoom link or wherever you're going to do it. I'll see you soon. That's all. The day before or morning of workshop, I like to do it 24 hours or 12 hours before. I'm actually going to 12 to 24 hours before. A reminder. Hey, Natalie, in 12 hours or in 24 hours, we are hosting our live training on this topic. Let me know, can you join? Tell me if you cannot join. I would love to know if you can join or not. Just hit me back a reply, yes or no. Why is this important in your opinion, do you think? That they reply. Write in the chat. Why do you think it's so important that they reply to this message? They feel more committed. Yes. What else? Engagement. They feel we are here and their presence is important for us. Yes, also. All of that, and I will add, they ask themselves the question. Because how many times did you sign up to a live training that is for free that you didn't even know if you're going to show up or later or not? You said, it's something that is interesting for me, but I don't have time to think right now if I really want to join or not. I just want to be connected to that brand. I want to receive their emails. I don't want to forget about this person. Just signing up, so somehow I am connected to them. But you might not even ask yourself if you're going to show up or not. So this is an opportunity for them to actually reflect. Am I going to show up tomorrow? Am I going to be there? So it's an opportunity for them to ask the question to, am I going to be there, yes or no? And of course, all of that what you mentioned. Now, the days before, this is extra, and this is really amazing, is writing for each of the shifts that you have. So the 3 shifts workshop has 3 shifts. Each one of the shifts, you can write an email about. And the way you can do it is that you can talk about, and this is something that Barak has taught, and I will go a bit deeper into that. I will show you the template after. I'm not going to go so much into this, but basically what you do is that you explain, why is this important, the specific shift? What are the proofs that this is important? It can be case studies or examples of yourself or some studies around that. And what are the benefits of doing this? What will they actually get from doing this? And in the PS, you say, PS, by the way, you can book a call. So each of the shifts, you can reflect of, what can I say? If, okay, one of your shifts is you need to have a vision, then you can say, let's say for Tava, can you give me a shift just in the chat? One of the shifts that you cover in the workshop, or one of the important pillars that you talk about. Knowing that they can slow down and pause. So the claiming for this one could be, for instance, to access your sexual power and your sexual energy, you must stop. You must slow down and pause. And then the proof is, when until 35, I was working in corporate and I never stopped. I didn't even know how to access my orgasmic state. After taking 2 weeks off, I was feeling my whole body completely differently, for instance. Or you can do some studies, like what are the studies that are showing that? And what are the things that you're doing? Slowing down and pause. When my client, Katie, and her husband started to practice 1 hour of slowing down together every night, they found that they had increased libido, increased connection just by doing this small practice. For instance, I'm just making things up, Tava, of course, but just think about how you can play with your own examples. When did you do this shift and how did it change? Maybe you can find some studies. According to the study about sexuality, the nervous system needs 30 minutes to actually access, especially women, we need more time to access our connection with our body. And this is why we need to take this 30 minutes practice to do, etc., etc., etc. And the benefits of doing this is that you're going to have increased sexuality, you're going to feel more relaxed, you're going to feel more connected, you're going to access deeper levels of spiritual connection, sacred sexuality, etc. 3 benefits. And by the way, PS, if you would like to talk more about this and and I think around sexuality is very interesting as well. If you want to have an intimate conversation with me one-on-one, I'm opening a couple of spots and we can talk about this topic together and plan out a plan for you to be able to create more space for rest and slowing down in your own life so you can access your sexual power. Book a call here or reach out to me and let's have a conversation. This is how you can basically create that shift email. So you will do that for each and one of the pillars. And all of this is going to be recorded. So you're going to write it once and after that you will reuse it forever until you become someone else, but you're going to improve it, of course. But honestly, you do it once and then it stays. It's not like social media posting and it's going to be really amazing for you. And of course, the first email is going to be, hey, thank you for signing up. This is the email. This is the link. This is the date. Really excited to see you. Very simple. So the most important emails that you need is the confirmation email, the 24 hours before and the 1 hour before. And then as you build out, you can build out the shift 1, 2, and 3. So I would like you to do a small quick check with yourself. Which one or which ones can you do for your next workshop? If you just make a small commitment for yourself, you just write in the chat. What are you committing for yourself to do for the upcoming workshop? That will not take you more than 30 minutes to set up. Emails 24 hours before the call. Beautiful. Love it. I really believe in micro commitments. Start with one, next time you add one more, and then it just builds out by itself. At least the confirmation email 12 hours before in 1 hour. Yeah. Amazing, Natalie. Amazing. You already sold 2.2 from what you just did. Now we're going to add this. Imagine what's going to happen. It's going to be super exciting. Super exciting. All right, 20 hours before. Beautiful. Awesome. All right, let's continue. Last part of today is going to be the messenger. So this is very simple. And honestly, it's quite important because if you have an email provider that they get an email from a new email that they haven't got, you might end up in the spam. You might end up in the promotion section until they have some communication with you. So it's completely normal to send them a WhatsApp message and saying, hi, I'm Natalie. I'm organizing this workshop. Just want to check in. Did you get my email about the workshop? Do you have all the things that you need for the workshop? I cannot tell you how many times we sent this message and they said, what workshop are you talking about? They might have received, but maybe they received 30 emails. Maybe they don't even know that they signed up to this thing, or there's some type of overwhelm with messaging nowadays for people. So if you get them a reminder, and, hey, check in your inbox. Did you really get my email? Yes, I did. Amazing. Especially if you're going to work with female leaders or male leaders who have a lot of emails coming in, you need to do this. And then after that, curiosity and qualifier. So this is not in one spam long message. It's back. This is really a dialogue. They answer yes or no. No, okay, let's double check, give them information, check their email, more logistics. Yes, amazing. So what I'm curious, all those questions are the base questions, and then you're gonna be a bit more human. So they answer and you say, okay, great, I'm so happy that you received this information. I'm curious to hear more about you. What makes you interested in this topic? How experienced are you with this? Really get an idea of like, where are they at the moment? Yesterday, I spoke with a woman who she has a Tantra festival and she would love to work with more experienced women who already have some experience in Tantra, not completely beginners, So for her, that question will be very interesting. I saw that you signed up to my workshop. Do you already have experience with Tantra? Have you done any workshops before? What have you done? What makes you interested in this topic? It's very natural. Okay, amazing. And then you go to the next question. So tell me more. Where are you now in terms of your etc.? Where are you now when it comes to your, we talked about Anel's example with, let me see, go back to Anel's title. From uncertainty to clarity, find confidence in transformational. So where are you now in your transformational journey? Tell me a bit more. What's really going on? I'm feeling so overwhelmed. I did this retreat and it really opened me, but then I came back to work and I cannot connect to that feeling anymore. So what do you want to connect with? What was it that you really saw in that retreat that you want to do again? Actually, I saw that I want to live in more nature and I'm living in the city and I'm feeling that I'm not connected to myself. Okay, so what is blocking you from living more in line with that? I think it's courage. I think I'm not really feeling that I have the courage to do the steps, and I'm not sure what the first step looks like. Okay, invitation. They open up with those things. You know what? Here's what I'm thinking. How about we get on the call, you and me, and I would love to look at what I see that you can do in order to build out these first steps that you're talking about. How does that sound? That sounds amazing. Let's go on the call. They already forgot about the workshop. They're just happy that you're there for them. And then you book in the call. That's how it looks. So this is like the core skeleton of this. This can be done by Messenger. And if you're using Messenger on Facebook or LinkedIn, doesn't really matter. It can even be done by email, but I really like to do it by WhatsApp. There's something really special about the WhatsApp. So this is the outline that you can have. Okay, let me see. Do you ask for permission to talk after you get confirmation? How do you do that? Yes. So I really want to make sure that the workshop we are organizing is adapted to the participants who are showing up. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? Are you open that I ask you a couple of questions? I always work with permission. Every step, I always work with permission. Even when I ask for the invitation, I ask, how about? Here's what I'm thinking. How about we get on the call? And we have a conversation, we chat, we brainstorm, we reflect together. I'm happy to, if I can be of any help, I'm happy, like you're really there to serve. I really believe in more an audition than sales. You see what I mean? Like you have an expertise and you're there to help them with what you're doing. You're training, you're helping them, you're supporting them, you're guiding them. Even when you're having those messenger conversations, you're leading them through a journey. Okay. And this is before. And then you have the actual workshop. You do the workshop. I'm not going to go into that. You have a whole model on that and lots of training. But what you do after is the thank you sequence. Thank you for showing up. It was super amazing. You can do this by email. It's the email part, right? And by the way, if you haven't signed up, here's the call where you can book to have a deeper conversation. Great. And then after that, if they haven't replied, it's more like a thank you email. This is an invite. You can just do a last invitation and say, hey, last spots for the call. This call is going to be, this is really important, what you get. What we are going to cover in this call is this. If they have been on the fence until now because they're like, I don't want to have a sales call. I don't want to be closed, like hard closed on the sales call. You say, this is what you're going to get. This call is all about you. We're going to have 45 minutes together and we are going to go through all the pillars that we talk about. In the end, you will walk out with a plan for how you can implement this in your life. So if in the workshop you got the inspiration and understanding, this is going to help you to really integrate that. And if you feel like, actually, I want to help with this implementation plan, then we can talk about how that looks. But if you don't, I'm happy that you walk away with this and you know what to do next. This is how you can frame the actual call. And the ones who didn't show up, Natalie, as you have the replay, hey, this is more advanced level. If you don't have the replay, that's completely fine because there are a lot of things we can do before that. Hey, you didn't show up for the call, for the live training, sorry. Would you like permission to have, so would you like me to send you the replay? Yes, thank you. That would be amazing. Awesome. Here is the link. By the way, Here's where if you would like to go deeper, the participants who showed up are also getting a chance to have a call with me one-on-one. In this call, we've covered this and this. Would you like to book a call? Amazing. Yes, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, great. And you can do the whole thing also on messages, similar. You don't need to do all of that. Like we're giving you examples, right? So you can choose where you want to go. And as I mentioned, a thank you email is great. Maybe you skip the invite for a call and you do it by messenger. You'll see. But basically here you have the option to say, thank you. I like to ask, what was your biggest takeaway? So if someone is showing up and I say, hi, we're having a conversation. Thank you so much for showing up. Catherine, I loved your energy in the workshop. What was your biggest takeaway? And then they open up and they say, actually, when you talked about this, I really resonating, or thank you so much. You give them a permission to, when you ask this question, usually they answer a lot of things and they do an audio or something like that. And they say, amazing. So how about we go on a call and talk more about this? I would love to help you deeper. Great. Didn't show up, offer replay, offer call. You have a lot of opportunities here as well. So this is what we have set up for you. This is in your Miro board. And the homework, the implementation work, is to set this up. So you can start really tapping into, it's more conversational sales that we are working with here. As you see, it's more about human-to-human connection. And you will see that you don't need many people, but you need to have high quality interaction and having the courage to speak with people.